Hey, what's up, everybody? JayC here, and we're back at it with another live stream. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Hopefully, I didn't pull you away from your loved ones on this very special Valentine's Day. But I figured it best you could tell your loved ones that you're trying to win a hard to get GI Joe figure or some free toys. But we're gonna try and keep today's to about an hour, 2 hours at most, 2 hours tops. So I've got some new GI Joe figures I wanted to take a look at with the new Zartan figure and the new Cobra Trooper figure. Actually got two of these. They came from Big Bad Toy Store. I pre-ordered them back when they first went up last year, and they actually arrived a little bit early. I wasn't really expecting them until next month, but Big Bad started getting some in early, and I got the shipping notice at the beginning of the week. They got a little delayed in the mail because we had some ice storms around this area, so they didn't end up showing up until Saturday. Originally, I think they were supposed to show up on Thursday, but got them at hand, so I want to take a look at them. We're going to take a look in the review station. Hopefully, everything will go smooth. Hopefully, we've worked out all of our technical difficulties in the last two live streams. I changed some equipment, so that caused some glitches, but now hopefully everything will run smoothly, including hopefully my voice will actually sync up with my lips for the most part. Let's see who's in the house. What's up, Kyle? Quinn Comics is in the house. Action Figure Expert. Trevor, of course, Salome is also in the house, everybody, so welcome, Salome. See. CM Brock is in the house. David's in the house. No Marvel news to share. Nothing new on the Marvel news front to share with you, David, this week. Next week, we will definitely, next Friday, we should be getting some new Marvel Legend reveals, official ones from Hasbro. So next week, we'll definitely have some Marvel stuff to talk about, but nothing this week. We're going to be focusing mostly on G.I. Joe. Warhawk's in the house. What's up, man? Kaz, what's up? Coco, a lot of familiar names seeing in here. Now, besides looking at G.I. Joe figures, I also, we're going to be doing the trivia contest today, so I'll go over those rules in a minute. But something a little bit different. So I understand not everybody collects G.I. Joe. So one of the things that I have 3 different prizes where whoever wins the trivia contest will be able to choose one of the 3 is how I'm doing it this week. So I've got this Cobra Viper. Actually, if you caught one of the previous live streams, I talked about this, I think the last one, where I went into my Target earlier this week and they happened to have 2 Vipers on the shelf. So I went on and picked them up. One for myself. I already have 1 Viper, but I wanted 2. So I got one for me, and then I got a second one to do a giveaway with. So we've got this one. And then obviously, if you don't collect, not everybody watching may be into G.I. Joe. I've also got this Krang figure, this deluxe NECA Krang figure. I ended up with 2 of these, so I've got one to give away. I could have taken it back to Target, but I decided we'd do a giveaway. Now, with these 2, if the winner decides he wants one of or they want one of these 2 prizes, I do have to say that these will only be available, these 2 items will only be available to those of you here in the United States, or at least have an address to send to in the United States. I'm not fooling with international shipping right now. Just shipping within the United States these days is a bit of a challenge. So these 2, whoever wins the trivia contest, if they decide to pick one of these, they'll need to have an address here in the United States. However, I don't want to leave out any international fans, or if you don't collect G.I. Joe or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the third option that you can choose to win is $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So those are the three choices. Whoever wins the trivia contest will be able to pick one of those three prizes: the Cobra Viper, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Krang, or $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, hell, why would anyone pick a $20 action figure over, say, $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store? This figure, for many people, has been fairly hard to get. So, if you're really into G.I. Joe, you may forego the $100 store credit and take this. I don't know. But I'm putting all three options out there for you guys. Now, the way the trivia contest, and those of you who have been around enough for these live streams know how it works, but I'll go over the rules here. So I've got 5 questions that throughout the course of this live stream I will ask. Okay? And then the first answer that I see come across my screen, and I do have to stress that the first one I see, meaning if, by some chance somebody got the answer and I missed it for some reason, hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully I'll see the first person who gets the first right answer. But I do have to keep it just in case, one slipped by. Sometimes, these things scroll by fast. And so it's the one I first see that I call out. That name will then go into the bowl over there. And then at the end of the evening, after we've asked all 5 questions, we will draw one of the names of the winners, and you can win multiple questions. So, you could conceivably, if you were the first one to get the right answer on all 5 questions, then you'd be guaranteed to win the contest. So you can, basically increase your odds. The more questions you get right, the better your odds of actually winning. Though I will say, we have in past competitions had somebody who got 2 questions right. I think 2 different times we got somebody who had gotten 2 questions right, and they actually did not end up winning. So it's not, even if you get, say, more than 1 question right, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. It just increases your odds of winning. So we'll be asking the first question here in just a few minutes, but that's how it goes. And then, like I said, whoever ends up winning will be able to choose out of those 3 prizes. Again, the 2 physical items that I would have to mail, the Cobra Viper and the Turtle Krang, those do have to go to, you can only choose those if you have an address that I can ship it to within the United States. Otherwise, if you're international or what have you, you'll have to go with the Big Bad Toy Store store credit because they do ship internationally. So hopefully, and I'll end up repeating these rules each question just for latecomers. And if you're here at the beginning of the video and you get a question right, but you can't stick around for the entire video, you can, this video will go up as a regular video shortly after it's done streaming. And if you come back and watch it and see, by tomorrow and you contact me, I'll give you until like tomorrow to claim your prize and everything. You don't necessarily have to stick around the entire live stream. It's great if you do, but you don't necessarily have to. You'll just want to make sure if you get a question right and then you have to leave early, you'll just want to make sure that you check back, sometime by tomorrow and then contact me to claim the prize. And I'll give you an email at the end of the video that you can use to do that. Jerry wants to talk WandaVision. Well, we keep in like the entertainment stuff on Wednesday live stream. So my plan, if you missed last Wednesdays, my plan is I want to try and do the live streams on a fairly regular scheduled basis. I think that'll give you guys a chance to be, to prepare to tune in. So right now I am steering on doing live streams on Sundays around this time, 7:30ish, and then Wednesdays. And the Wednesday live streams, I really kind of want to keep to talking things like, the newest episode of WandaVision. There's a new trailer for the Justice League Zack Snyder movie that just dropped today. So we can talk about that. We'll talk about that on Wednesday, stuff like that. So kind of keeping the Wednesday live streams to talking entertainment stuff. And those do have spoilers and such. So, but then keeping the Sunday ones to really focusing more on action figures and stuff. We might vary off topic a little bit here and there, but that's really kind of what I'm envisioning with these is the Wednesdays are the entertainment stuff, and then the Sundays are the talking toys and stuff. So, but yes, Wanda's definitely some interesting things to talk about on Wednesday with WandaVision. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that. Capano Bear, hey Jay, are the Action Force line, including Sergeant Slaughter, still expected to ship in March? I believe so. I haven't. I have my Sergeant Slaughter, my Action Force Sergeant Slaughter, on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store, and I don't think the date has changed on that. I haven't checked recently to say 100%, but I haven't heard anything about any major delays. Are all questions all GI Joe based? Not necessarily, Arthur. That's the main focus of today, but certainly, we can talk about other things besides GI Joe. It's kind of a slow week. We did have some Power Ranger news on Friday, so I don't know how many of you are into Power Rangers. And then we got a pretty interesting Power Ranger rumor that came out this weekend as well. So about looks like maybe we're getting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Power Ranger crossover action figure line based on the Boom Studio comic book series. Action Figure Expert says, man, miss you, JayC. Remember about 10 years ago, we had the big contest on the TNI message boards where people were in teams? I do. Now, of course, we still have, every month we give away $100 store credits. Nice segue there. We give away $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store once a month on both the TNI message boards and the Marvelous News message boards. There are actually links to the current contest in this video description. So if you're not aware of those, if you want a cool place to talk toys, I personally highly recommend those, the TNI forums and the Marvelous News forums. And then, of course, you get a chance every time you post there, you get entered for a chance to win $100 store credit. So don't do quite as elaborate as the team thing, Action Figure Expert, but we continue to offer ways for you guys to help you out with your action figure collecting, basically. Coco says Amazon shipped his Thanos. Should be here Tuesday. Nice. I have not. I haven't decided if I'm going to get that Thanos or not. I haven't like pre-ordered it or not. I don't think it'll be that difficult to get. It is starting to see release. I have, other Thanos, and while this one does look a little bit nicer with the extra accessories, it's just, I don't know if it's worth getting another Thanos for. So I haven't decided. There's just so many things that are coming out, and it's from a budget standpoint, it's just hard to get it all. I wish I could, but Man from V, Arthur, good name, strong name. Boom, Warhawk says. What's up, Pat? Welcome. Jay Wills, what's up, brother? Just picked up the new UFC action figures from Jazzwares. Daniel is freaking awesome. Nice. The new ones, yeah. The new ones they just announced, the Ultimate figures, I'm assuming. Or the previous ones. The new ones, the Ultimate ones they just announced, I think we're supposed to start hitting this month. They look good. I mean, I don't watch a lot of UFC to be honest, but the figures themselves I thought looked pretty good. I mean, it's hard to do action figures like that have very little in the way of clothes on, that are highly articulated. It's kind of hard to make them look good, but I think Jazzwares is doing a decent job there. Warhawk says he's passing on Thanos. Like I'm kind of behind on my Marvel Legends, so like I still haven't gotten the Stiltman wave. I saw that it was starting. Like I saw like the Frogman figure was in stock at Amazon, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna like cherry pick the wave. I really want Stiltman, so I'm probably gonna end up getting the entire wave. Even though honestly, the Into the Spider-Verse figures, while I think they look good, I'm just not as enamored with them personally. And again, because there's so many things, and I am a little bit on a budget, I have to kind of pick and choose stuff. But because I want the Stiltman, I probably will end up getting that entire wave. So I haven't decided if I'm just gonna like buy here and there until I get the whole wave, or just like pre-order the whole, or get the whole wave from Big Bad Toy Store. I haven't decided. I haven't seen that wave at retail yet, but like I said, I saw like Amazon was getting individual ones. I have a feeling if I want to get the Red Ninjas, and I probably would get at least two, not for the Red Ninjas themselves, even though, they are army builders, but because I want like at least two extender pieces for the Stiltman figure. I'm not going to go haywire and buy like 10 Red Ninjas so I can build a super tall Stiltman, but I'm going to at least get two. Still Wind 87. Super 7 doing a 7-inch classic G.I. Joe line. They are doing Transformers. They have not announced anything for G.I. Joe. My guess is probably right now, no. I could see them maybe down the road, especially if G.I. Joe continues to get more and more popular. But I think right now, they are maybe after the movie, I could see them doing G.I. Joe. But I think right now, with the movie coming, Hasbro is probably wanting to keep all GI Joe to themselves. So nothing on the GI Joe front from Super 7, but being they're doing Power Rangers, being they're doing Transformers, I certainly think that GI Joe could be on the table. Ultimates and reaction figures both could be on the table at some point down the road. All right, let's get into our first trivia question here. So all the questions are GI Joe related. Now I've mixed them up. Some are toy related, some are cartoon related, some are comic book related. So, but they are all related to GI Joe this evening. So, okay, so this one's a toy question. How was the original battle helmet, the original A Real American Hero, 3 3/4 inch GI Joe figure back in the '80s? How was the original battle helmet Cobra Commander figure sold? This was back in 1982. Cal Arking says Serpentor. I don't know if that was his answer or he's just saying Serpentor. Mail away, Kyle. You got it, my man. Kyle is wins the first round, so his name is going into the bucket. Got to write his name on the back of the card here. So yes, the original Battle Helmet Cobra Commander was released first as a mail away, and then later that year was released in an exclusive Cobra missile base cardboard, mostly cardboard playset that was exclusive to Sears. So, can you imagine if Hasbro released a major character like Cobra Commander today like that? People would be outraged. But that's how the original Cobra Commander figure was actually released. Now, later on, they did release it on a regular single card at regular retail. But initially, Cobra Commander, and in fact, was the last straight arm GI Joe figure that was released before they went to the Kung Fu grip stuff. Where the elbows had better articulation. But initially, Cobra Commander, that Cobra Commander figure was released as a mail away exclusive. So congrats, Kyle, on getting that one. So his name goes in the bowl, which we will then be drawing at the end of one of the names out at the end of the video. So Eric says, got to get ready for dinner. Got to get dinner ready for the kids. Have fun, guys. See you later, Eric. You might check back, see if we're still on by the time you get done with dinner, but if not, have a great evening. Bean says he was always tough to get. (1982). I thought Joe's came out in 1986. No. G.I. Joe, I believe, first, the Real American Hero stuff, I believe, first started being released in 82. Of course, G.I. Joe, the actual brand itself actually goes back, in the 60s, but G.I. Joe got shrunk, those were larger scale figures and then got shrunk down to the 3 3/4 inch in the early 80s. Yeah, the swivel. Yeah, it wasn't in Kung Fu grip, it was swivel, but yeah. But the original 3 3/4 inch figures had little minimal arm articulation, so like you couldn't even like get them in like double-handed grips for their weapons and stuff. So shortly after the line started, Hasbro updated the articulation on the arms, and were much better after that. But those original figures that have the straight arms, those are actually I think much more rare and valuable than and all the figures they did with the straight arms they later re-released with the added articulation, but I think those original figures are definitely, if you have them still carded and stuff, go for quite a pretty penny. Kyle says Rise of Cobra is what got him into G.I. Joe. Renegade Biker, this is the reason why the figures are being delayed. I must have missed your previous comment, so I'm not sure what you're referring to, but a lot of figures are being delayed because the ports are getting backed up and stuff is sitting out there on those ships, as they ship over from outside countries, in large part because of COVID. So we are seeing a lot of delays and stuff, or causing stuff to more slowly trickle out. So Renegade Biker wants me to scroll up to see his previous comment. He's suggesting that G.I. Joe is still made in China despite the South China Sea problems. I don't. I mean, Hasbro definitely still makes stuff in China. They've kind of moved some of their factories, but I don't know exactly what gets made where. But I mean, another thing with GI Joe, which is that people keep forgetting, is that the movie being delayed has also just in general caused delays because originally Hasbro was going to be releasing movie product by this point, and things like that. So there's a number of reasons for GI Joe, and like lack of availability with some of it, and it is improving. I think it's getting better. Again, with the regular stuff, if you go online, they're easy to get, hence the Zartan and the Cobra Trooper. I mean, I see people, because they have started also hitting at Walgreens. I've seen reports of people finding them at some of the Walgreens and such. So, I'm seeing people running around all over the place trying to find them. And I'm like, dude, I just ordered these and they arrived at my doorstep and I didn't have to waste any time or energy getting them. And I got 2 Cobra Troopers. I could have gotten more. I could have gotten like 20 if I wanted to. Easy peasy. And I mean, yes, these did show up a little bit earlier than anticipated. A lot of times when you order online, you have to wait longer. But to me, buying online is the way to go with most of the stuff. Now, obviously, the Target exclusives, that's a different story. But, again, talking about improvement, like the first one I got when these first started hitting, I had to go to the Target that was far away. I had to get up at the crack of dawn, be there when it opened. But with this, just happened to walk in the store and there were the 2 sitting on the shelf. Now, I know that was luck more than anything, but still, the fact that I was able to go in there and find them, I think, and these continue to start seeing, these have been continuing to start, hitting targets, since they first started seeing release. So definitely, I feel like this second wave of Target exclusives has been a little bit easier to get than the first wave. So it's not great. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, Hasbro's doing a fantastic job on getting these out to Targets, but there is improvement there. So, and that should give you hope that as time goes on, these will get a little bit better to get. So just something to keep in mind. Same thing with the Turtles. I mean, so, and I like to, we talk about when these things are hard to get and everything, right? And I think it's good to call that out. But I also think it's also good when we start to see improvement to call that out as well. So like I'm definitely seeing improvement with the turtle products. So this week as well, when I found those vipers, I also found these at my local Target as well. Now this one actually I didn't buy. I already had this one, so there were two of these. The Triceratops 2-packs at the Target, so I left those. I already had one, but this one I hadn't gotten this one yet. So Omni was going to hook me up, but because I found it at my local Target, he was cool. He just took the one that he had gotten, took it back, so I didn't have to pay for shipping. But I found this in my Target this week, so they're stocking them now. I of course I was primarily looking for the Rat King 2-pack, which I've yet to find, but I feel pretty good that I should probably either online or at Target, be able to find that one. So again, not perfect, not great. It's not like I can go into Target at any time and expect to find these things on shelves, but it's getting easier, including, I have not seen the Krang in stores yet. I got my initial Krang. So Omni, the guy who lives out in California, he has an easier time finding the stuff, and he when he finds an extra one, he'll hit me up and he'll sell it to me at cost plus shipping. So he had found one back before Christmas, Krang and the Baxter and Splinter 2-pack, and then they got lost in the mail for like ever. And then I happened to find, they happened to come online. They were available a few weeks ago on the Target website. And so I was able to grab them off the Target website because I was afraid they were going to get the ones that Omni had sent me were going to be lost forever in the mail. Of course, the very next day, what happens? The ones that were lost in the mail show up at my doorstep. So that's how I ended up with two of the Krang. I've not seen Krang in the store. I have seen the Baxter and the Splinter in store. The Baxter and the Splinter are still available on the Target website, I believe. Krang is still a little more difficult to get, but I was able to get one of these off the Target website, and so again, we are seeing improvement with those things. This damn blanket keeps sliding off. All right, so let me get this Zartan figure open because I've been waiting for Zartan. Like many of you, I was disappointed when, because the original listing for the figure had it with color changeability, and then it turned out that was an error, and it didn't have color changeability. So I was disappointed that it didn't, but I still think this is a great looking figure, and a weapon that actually looks like, Zartan's weapon. So this set it's got hands and a knife too, but I actually like this pistol because it's very similar to the pistol that the original Zartan figure had. So I'm liking that. And then and we'll take a closer look. I'll put it in the review booth here in a second. But and of course he also has the backpack that is very reminiscent to the original Zartan figure as well. So liking that too, and opens up and you can put the little mask in. So and the mask looks pretty much like the old original one that came with the toy as well, so liking that. Now, if Hasbro's smart, what they'll end up doing with Zartan is they will end up doing a separate one with color changeability and release him with his some version of his swamp skier. Which, if they go that route, I could see them maybe doing that as a Target exclusive. But that's what I think they should do. If they're not already planning that, then I think they should. And then I don't know where I sat the Cobra Trooper. So the Cobra Trooper. So I was lucky and I was able to get the Target exclusive ones. I have two of the Target exclusives one, but I went on and got two of these guys as well. I always buy my army builders in two. Like I don't have the space to like buy like 20, but I always try and get like two of the army builders. So this one's a little bit different, and we'll look at both figures, the Target one and this one. Closer here in just a sec, but I kind of wish, and I don't know, people might have been more upset if they had changed it that drastically, but I kind of wish they had done like, back in the original toy line, they did the Cobra Soldier and then they did the Cobra Officer, and the big difference, there were some other, they had different weapons and stuff, but the big difference I always remember as a kid is the Cobra Soldier had the red Cobra symbol and the Cobra Officer had the silver Cobra symbol. So I kind of wish they had done more of like a Cobra Officer for one of these two figures instead of just doing two variations of the Cobra Soldier. But then those who missed out on like the Target exclusive one, I'm sure would be even more upset. I mean, I've seen some people get upset that this isn't the exact same figure as the Target one, which if I didn't have the Target one, I think I'd be pretty happy with these. So, but again, we'll take a closer look at both here in just a second. Renegade Biker 24. What is the temperature where you're at? It's 7 degrees, but feels colder, like 9 degrees. Not quite that cold here. Actually, today it warmed up a little bit. We got up into the 40s today, or 40. Actually, I think we ended up maybe only getting up into high 30s. Originally, they said the high was going to be 40, but I think it's 38. Yesterday, we had ice. Like, we were under an ice warning all day yesterday. So we had ice. Still only talking about temperatures in the low 30s and upper 20s. So we haven't hit single digits or negative numbers here yet, but it certainly hasn't been warm. I've not seen your review, Renegade Biker, of the Super 7 Cobra Bat, but I'll check it out. Get Charge Gray. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Says he got Zartan, except he looks just like that Duke figure. I think Zartan looks like Duke, but Kyle wants to know if anyone's played the G.I. Joe Classified game. Are you talking about the one that came out on the consoles? I ended up not getting that one. Just the reviews of it didn't look very good and looked kind of boring. So I ended up passing on that. Jerry says it's 44 here in the south. The weather here, so my sinuses go haywire whenever the temperatures go up and down. So like I ended up getting I'll get these bad sinus headaches, and every day like temperature will one day it's like low 30s, 20s, and then the next day it goes up into the 40s and 50s. So that kind of weather pattern just drives my sinuses crazy. So like I have to live on sinus medicine just because I'll get these really bad headaches from the drastic weather temperature changes. Arthur says the GI Joe game looks too repetitive. I agree. I mean, it looked like, you basically just did the exact same thing. And I mean, some people might like that. I don't have a lot of time to play video games these days anyway. And I just felt like I was going to get really bored with the game, like after a very short while. So if it didn't have GI Joe to it, I mean, I would have had absolutely no. If it wasn't like GI Joe looking characters and in the GI Joe name, I would have had like no interest in the game at all. It was only that it was GI Joe that remotely had me interested in it. And like I said, I looked at a few reviews of it, and a couple of guys playing it online, and in YouTube videos and stuff, and it looked kind of boring to me. -6, Mick says, in central Wisconsin. Well, Mick, it's always cold in Wisconsin, so. What's up, Felix? Classic action figures rubbing it in with 75 here in South Florida. Yeah, you sound like my dad, classic action figure. He lives in Florida, and every time I talk to him on the phone, he's like, "Oh, it's really cold here. It's like 70 degrees. It got down to 70 degrees at nighttime. We had to close the windows tonight." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." Alex got his hands on Zartan. Yeah. All right, let's go with another trivia question. This will be number 2. And I just knocked Zartan off the table. So just to recap for you latecomers, the way the trivia contest works is there's a total of 5 questions. I've already asked 1 question, so there's 4 left. They're all G.I. Joe related questions tonight. So, and then as I ask the question, the first answer that I see scroll across my screen, I will call that person's name out, and their name. I'll write their name on the card, and it'll go into the bowl here. And then at the end of the evening, I will draw out 1 name. Now you can win if you get more than 1 trivia question right. Then your name goes in the bowl more than once. So the more questions you get right, the better your chances of winning. Now, just to recap, what we're giving away, or what I'm giving away tonight. So you have 3 choices of what you can win. You can either go with the Krang figure, the G.I. Joe Cobra Island Target exclusive Cobra Viper. However, if you choose one of these 2, you will have to have an address here in the United States or live in the United States, but I'm not doing international shipping right now, so those 2 prices are only available to those in the U.S. However, for those of you outside the U.S., or if you're not into G.I. Joe that much, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the third option is a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So, and whoever wins will be able to choose out of those 3 prizes. So again, questions, and I'm going to mix them up here, are all G.I. Joe related. They're a mix of toy, cartoon, comic book questions. The first one was a toy related one. All right. So this one is a cartoon question. Which 2 G.I. Joe characters pretty much had a little nookie going on off screen and ended up having a kid who later then appeared in the 3rd season of the Transformers cartoon? So which 2 G.I. Joe characters ended up with a kid who then started appearing in the 3rd season of the G.I. Joe cartoon? Or Transformers cartoon. Which 2 G.I. Joe characters? No, not Scarlet and Snake Eyes, Kyle. Flint and Lady J. Carlos got it. First one I saw was Carlos. Yes. So, Flint and Lady J, which this has been officially confirmed. It was always suspected she was related to Flint and Lady J, but Flint Dilley, who is one of the writers on the G.I. Joe and Transformer cartoons, confirmed it in like one of the DVDs that the character known as Marissa Fairborn, which appeared in the 3rd season of Transformers, which, if you recall, took place in the future after the Transformers movie. So she was older, but she was the daughter of both Flint and Lady J. And actually, Flint made an appearance in one of the episodes or it wasn't actually really him. It was the Quintessons impersonating him. But he actually, an older version of Flint actually appeared in the cartoon. But yes, Flint and Lady J was the correct answer. So Carlos, your name is now going in. I'm writing your name down here, and your name is now going into the bowl. I don't think a lot of people realize how close. I mean, obviously, both Transformers and GI Joe was, by Hasbro. The toys and everything were by Hasbro. But I don't think in those early days a lot of people kind of realized how many kind of crossovers those two properties ended up really having. Um, they really, I mean, more so in the I would say in the comic books than the cartoons, but Cobra Commander appeared in one of the episodes of Transformers, and old Cobra Commander appeared in one of the season 3 Transformer episodes. So, Gotcha Gray says we need a Hector Ramirez figure. All right, so let's sit over. Let's get putting the figures in the review studio. So I'm going to flip over to the review booth so we can get closer looks at these figures. Turn on a little extra light here. All right, so let's look at the Cobra Trooper and just get a comparison of it along with the Target exclusive version. So the Target exclusive version does have more accessories. Mainly you get the 2 rifles. You get this one that fits on the back. And you get the goggles. You get the night vision goggles with the Target exclusive one, which you don't get with the regular release one. You do get the knives. You get the second machine gun. You get the pistol that goes in the holster there. You get the knife. So, but you get a few extra accessories with the Target exclusive. You also get, I don't know exactly what this little thing on his sleeve is, which is removable. It's supposed to be like maybe a rank insignia. I kind of view like the guy, like in my army, these guys are like higher rank than these guys. So it's like a sergeant rank or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but that's definitely what I kind of envision it as. So you don't get that one with the regular release version. And then you get some paint variations between the two. And the helmets are removable on both figures. Sorry, some cat hairs flying around Salome's here. But so, like on this one, the Target exclusive one, this web gear is black, and then on this one it's a dark blue. So that's a little bit different. I don't know which I like better, the black or the dark blue. It's kind of 50-50, I guess. But like I say, if I didn't have the Target exclusive ones, I'd be pretty content, I think, overall with the regular release ones. And they got to make it a little different. They can't just re-release the exact same figure, so they got to change it up a little bit. But and then the skin tone is a little bit different between the two. So this guy is definitely a white Caucasian guy. This guy, yeah, his skin's a little bit darker, so they varied up that a little bit as well there. So all right, so let's take a look at Zartan. So Zartan has, very reminiscent of his original figure. The hood is removable. He is bald, which is in keeping with the original character. He never took this hood off in like the cartoon or anything. In fact, I think as a kid I always thought it was pretty much his hair. If you want my honest opinion, I don't really remember if I ever really thought of it as a hood, but in fact it is. And you got some, I like the texturing here, and you got a little bit darker color there on those side pieces. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So I like that. And again, that backpack is, almost identical to what I remember the original Zartan backpack looking like. And he's got the knife back there. And of course, he's got this piece. Now, in the original figure, this piece was actually, you could pop it off. Now, in the original figure, this was actually had clear translucent plastic because it had the color changeability. And this is a separate piece, so it doesn't look like it's really made to be removed, but it is a separate piece on there. And then he's got like these thigh pads, which again on the original figure were actually, you could pop these off, and they were done. I think they had some clear translucent plastic on the original ones, but these were actually removable on the original figure. They're not removable here. And then I'll take this, open this up. And then you can put his mask on. I don't know if he can wear the hood and the mask. Yeah. So now he's in disguise, because you can't tell this is Zartan with the mask on, right? Of course, in the cartoon, he literally was the master of disguise and everything, but the toy was always just the mask. That's all you got. The eyes are whited out. So this is probably one of the closest in keeping with, so far, not counting like the upcoming Flint Lady J figures, but this is probably, one of the closest renditions of, looking like the original figure that I think they've done to date. Destro is pretty close to that as well. The Cobras, they definitely, up until this point, again, not counting like Lady J and Flint, but the Cobra guys seem to be have always been more in keeping with their original counterparts than the Joes. So Destro here. So these, in the cartoon, these two always hated each other. Yeah, one of the lines I always remember in the cartoon is when like Destro captures Zartan in his theme park after he betrayed Cobra, trying to sell to the highest bidder the piece of the Weather Dominator. And he grabs Zartan. He's like, "Zartan, you thieving turncoat!" Destro always had that deep voice. "My dear Cobra Commander." And then, of course, Zartan, if he was hit by sunlight, would all of a sudden, be in pain. So here he is. the Cobra hierarchy, high command. I don't have Baroness here, but definitely I'm thinking these guys all look pretty good together. All right, so let's see. Sorry, I can't read your questions while I'm looking at the figures. I'm just kind of scrolling down to catch your guys' questions. T'Challa says, Cops was a good cartoon. I only watch Cops occasionally. I didn't watch it on a regular basis. Mainly, it was one of those shows that just was never on. Like, it was one of those shows where I lived. It came on like in late mornings, I think. So I was always in school. Yeah, Zartan or Destro hated Zartan. And like at the end of the Weather Dominator miniseries, and like Zartan jumps on Destro's hang glider as they're escaping from the Cobra headquarters. BC Barker Creations, Crimson Twins. Missing Major Blood, yeah. Major Blood should be coming soon. I think we might see Major Blood by the end of the year. So I'm looking. Major Blood was one of my favorite characters, original favorite characters. I always loved his accent. And the figure, I love the figure, the original figure with his like rocket firing gun and everything. It was always a great figure. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Joshua says, "You got the stand-up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, freaking boss, dude." Yeah, I originally wasn't gonna get it, but then I broke down and got it. I can't wait to get the X-Men and Avenger side scroller that plays like that turtle game. That should be out later this year. I don't know where I'm gonna put it yet, but I definitely plan on getting that one. Kyle asks, "Am I excited for the Snake Eyes movie?" Well, I haven't seen enough for it to really know. I mean, we haven't even gotten a trailer or anything. So, based on past track record of live action G.I. Joe movies, I've got my doubts. Well, actually, let me turn this light off. But I'm hoping it's good. I mean, I hope they do a good job with it. But again, at this point, we just have not seen enough or heard enough about it to really be able to say one way or the other. Hopefully, it will be better than at least the last G.I. Joe movies that I was not hugely a fan of. Though I guess the second G.I. Joe movie with The Rock was a little bit better than the first one, just because at least the Cobras looked a little bit like, they should and such. Capano Bear is suggesting that the Sergeant Slaughter figure has been delayed until late spring, early summer, and that Big Bad Toy Store has not yet updated their site. So I haven't seen that, but I haven't honestly checked. So he's probably right. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, a lot of stuff is being delayed because of stuff kind of backing up in the shipping. Renegade Biker says he's been trying to do a 3D print of Timber for Snake Eyes, but he's having problems with the paws. I forget the company, but if you go on Amazon, and just like do a search for something like toy wolves or something, it actually looks like it, I mean, it doesn't look like it has much articulation or anything, but looks like there's I can't think of the company that make all kinds of animal type figures and stuff, but there's one on there that looks like might be a good. I haven't gotten it. I figure Hasbro will eventually give us Timber. We're going to see a lot of Snake Eyes figures released in the line. You know, Snake Eyes is G.I. Joe's version of Spider-Man and Iron Man and such. So, you know, we're going to see Snake Eyes released regularly. And at some point, they're going to give us Timber. So I haven't gone out and bought one. But if you, like, really wanted a Timber right now, I think the one I've seen on Amazon would probably work pretty good. Joshua wonders if they'll make Crystal Ball for G.I. Joe. Never say never, but I would say there's a lot more characters in front of that one that they would need to do. I would want to see them do before doing Crystal Ball. Do you think they'll come out with more G.I. Joe Fortnite figures? Julio asks. Probably not. Just because I'm sure that figure, you know, I'm sure they have to pay, you know, the company that makes the Fortnite game some type of licensing fee. Though I don't know exactly how that all works since Hasbro on one hand Hasbro is probably charging the Fortnite people to allow their characters to be in the game. Maybe I don't know exactly how that works, so I don't know. But my guess is Snake Eyes is probably the only character popular enough that they would do for that. But again, never say never. Tom, yes, Shylek or however you pronounce it, but that's the company I'm thinking of. Doing the figure that I think if you go on Amazon and search that, I think you'll see a figure that would work pretty good for Timber. Maybe needs a little touch up on paint because I don't know if he was white, so you might have to paint him like white. But do I ever ask, do I think we'll get a bat tank? I'm not sure what bat tank you're referring to, but off the top of my head, I'm going to say probably not. That's a great. We already have three Snake Eyes. Yeah, you know a movie Snake Eyes is going to be coming, and eventually we'll probably get some variation of the Commando Snake Eyes, and you know there's an infinite number of Snake Eyes. They'll probably start making up Snake Eyes. So, I mean, like I said, Snake Eyes is kind of like Spider-Man, Iron Man. You know, probably the most recognizable character in GI Joe. So you'll be seeing a lot of Snake Eyes. Mr. Joshua, am I excited for the NECA Phantom figure? Yeah, I probably will check out those Defenders of the Earth figures, assuming I can find them. Right now, they're only hitting Walmart, so I'll probably wait till they. I'll probably never see them at Walmart, so I'll probably wait until they see a general release. But they definitely look pretty good from what I've seen. Landaroos 554 asks if there's a G.I. Joe animated series coming to Netflix. Still waiting on the Masters of the Universe one from Kevin Smith. Nothing, no word on a Netflix G.I. Joe series, just Transformers. However, Hasbro did just this week launch a dedicated YouTube channel for G.I. Joe. I'm not sure why. You know, they already had their regular main Hasbro YouTube channel, which they were already airing like classic episodes of G.I. Joe on. But now they've launched just a dedicated YouTube channel for GI Joe. So I don't know if they plan on doing any kind of original programming for that channel, which maybe seems it's the only reason why I could think of for them really doing a dedicated GI Joe channel. And that's kind of how they started with Transformers, where they did some straight to YouTube stuff before the Netflix series came about. So that might be what they're thinking with GI Joe. Right now, they just have the Renegades cartoon on there, but Kyle asks, were the G.I. Joe Hasbro figures meant to coincide with the release of the new film? I guess it depends on which ones you're asking about. But I don't think we've seen much in the way of G.I. or Ghostbusters product because of the movie being delayed. So, I mean, obviously those initial Plasma series figures came out when they were supposed to, but then the movie got delayed. So we haven't seen anything more really released other than that Ecto 1, which is, even though under the Plasma series is made for smaller scale figures, and there are smaller scale figures that they're doing. Some have actually leaked out on eBay and stuff, and they showed some off at Toy Fair last February. But when they actually see a regular release, I don't know. The Ecto 1 is kind of collecting dust at Target. I've seen it at multiple Targets and it doesn't seem to be moving very well. But of course, being there's no figures that actually fit it right now available at retail, I guess it's not too, whoever planned that release, I don't know, maybe wasn't thinking too well. But but yes, I would say there are Ghostbuster figures that would have probably been out by now had the movie released on time. MK Solid says the Billy Zane Phantom movie really wasn't that bad, just media core. I saw that movie once a long time ago, so honestly I don't remember much about it, but you're right, I don't remember anything standing out about it. I don't remember it being horrible or anything, but I don't remember it being great either. Yeah, Prime, they did mention that they'd be airing the Sigma 6 series on the channel, so you're right. I'm sure eventually they'll probably put up all the old G.I. Joe cartoons. Right now, like I said, they have the original 80s cartoon up on their main Hasbro channel, but they'll probably switch that over at some point to the dedicated channel, and then, Sigma 6 and Renegades and all those other cartoons that they've done will probably end up there as well. But I have my suspicions that they probably will end up doing some unique new stuff just for that channel, straight to YouTube. Maybe like 5 minute cartoon spurts or something like that. Yeah, all the G.I. Joe cartoons are also on Tubi. You're right. Classic action figure. People are starting to find the classic or the Castle Grayskull Origins at Walmart. Looks pretty cool. I've heard people finding them in Canada at Walmart's in Canada. I don't have people started finding them here in the U.S. I I haven't heard any U.S. finds, but definitely I'd seen some people in Canada who started to find that. MK Solid Target has good days, but Walmart is the biggest waste of a trip. Oh, I would agree with you there, but my Walmart is the worst of the worst, so I know there are some Walmarts out there that stock better than my local Walmart, and I only have one Walmart in the near vicinity, so I hate, people hate Target exclusives. I always, I mean, I'm not a fan of Target exclusives, but I've always found in general it's easier to find Target stuff than Walmart stuff, so T'Challa wants to see real Ghostbusters in 6-inch forms. Well, you're not alone. Every time Ghostbusters comes up, somebody always says they want to see real Ghostbusters, Plasma series Ghostbusters figures. And I got to figure, if Hasbro is going to continue that line, they will do real Ghostbusters stuff. There's just too much demand for it. So, again, I think probably stuff like that has been delayed because of the movie being delayed. Because like both, I mean, the thing I think a lot of people don't realize, like when we talk about, like when you talk about Marvel stuff, the Marvel movie stuff is delayed not because retailers need to have a movie in order to want to carry Marvel figures. It's delayed because they've got spoilers from the movies that can't be shown. But when you're talking G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters, it's not only that has a play, but retailers really just aren't interested in carrying G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters unless there's an actual movie out there to push the merchandise. So it's like Marvel, which is a much popular line, retailers are much more willing to carry those figures, even if there's not a movie actively out there. But with G.I. Joe and Transformers, they're or not Transformers, but G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters, they're much less likely to want to carry product unless there's the movie to push it. And so that's why with like the G.I. Joe, I think the classified was really kind of supposed to be a tide over until the movie, but retailers really weren't interested in carrying G.I. Joe except for the movie coming out. So if there wasn't a Snake Eyes movie, we probably would have never seen G.I. Joe classified on shelves at all. And the retailers are probably kind of like, we really don't want to carry a lot of G.I. Joe stuff until there's the movie out there. So once the movie comes out, I do suspect we'll see an uptick in G.I. Joe merchandise on regular retail shelves. Now, whether the movie is good or not will depend, that will have a bearing on long term, of how, if the movie does well and is good and there ends up being a sequel and what have you, then retailers will be more inclined to continue to carry G.I. Joe. Same thing with Ghostbusters. If these movies bomb and they don't do well and they're one and dones, then the retail, I wouldn't expect either Ghostbusters or G.I. Joe to have much longevity at retail. G.I. Joe, that's not to say like G.I. Joe Classified would be canceled, because I do think G.I. Joe Classified has been doing fairly well. And so, but I think you would still primarily, if you wanted to pick up the stuff, it's either going to be exclusives or you're going to have to go to online. If you really want a better chance of seeing a lot of G.I. Joe at places like Target and Walmart, a lot is going to depend on the movie. Now, if the Ghostbusters movie fails, it bombs, I would suspect Hasbro will end up dropping that license in a heartbeat. So, G.I. Joe is Hasbro's, they own G.I. Joe, so they're not going to drop G.I. Joe. But if the Ghostbusters movie were to bomb, I would suspect that Hasbro will drop the license. I don't know how long they have the license for, but as soon as that if the movie bombs, I would expect them, as soon as that license expires, that they would not pick it back up. We saw them do something similar with like Star Trek. They picked up the Star Trek license years ago. Now, all they ended up doing were those building block figures. But had those Star Trek movies done much better, I think Hasbro would have maybe expanded out their Star Trek stuff. But because they were kind of lackluster, they dropped the license and such. So, again, I think how well the movie does for Ghostbusters will depend on how much Hasbro product we actually see put out. Kyle says he misses movie theaters. A little mixed bag on that. I enjoy being able to watch a movie. It's much easier to watch a movie in my house, to be honest. I do miss going out, just like an evening with my wife, going out to dinner and a movie and stuff occasionally. So I do miss that aspect, but in general, I enjoy watching the movie from the comfort of my home than having to go to a movie theater. All right, let's do another trivia contest. We've got 3 more questions. So just once again, got to recap the rules for those who maybe joined late. So total of 5 questions are being asked tonight, all G.I. Joe related. We've had 2 questions already asked and answered. 2 different people got those. But I'm going to ask a question, and all questions tonight are G.I. Joe related. And the first person who gets the right answer, I see the right answer scroll across my screen. I will call their name out, write their name on the card. It will go in the bowl. At the end of the evening here, we will draw out one name, and that person will win the contest. Now, for tonight's contest, you have 3 choices of prizes. You have the Cobra Viper, the Target exclusive Cobra Viper, the Target exclusive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe Krang figure. And for those 2, you have to have an address here in the United States. I'm not doing international shipping for those. So you do have to either live or at least have an address for me to send those to here in the US. The third prize is for anyone who doesn't collect G.I. Joe or collect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or lives outside the U.S. It's a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Story. I mean, you can choose, even if you are into G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and live in the U.S., you can, if you win, you can still choose the Big Bad Toy store credit. But I threw that one in because I didn't want to leave you international guys hanging and stuff. So those are your 3 choices of prizes that you can pick if you end up winning the contest. So this is question number 3. And again, these are all G.I. Joe related. It's a mix of toy, comic, and cartoon. So mix them up here. Okay, so this is another cartoon related question for you guys. Name 2 G.I. Joe characters that were voiced by Peter Cullen, which of course is most known for voicing Optimus Prime in the Transformer cartoons. But he voiced a number of different characters in the G.I. Joe cartoon, and I need you to name at least 2 of them. 2 of them were actual main characters that had like action figures and stuff made after them. 2 of them were kind of just secondary characters that appeared in the cartoon. But I will take the name of any 2 that you can come up with. Renegade Biker 24, yes, Salome always steals the show. No, not Duke and Destro, Coco. Nope. Kyle, not Serpentor and Zartan. Nope. Not Flint and Destro. Airborne and Nemesis Enforcer. Nope, not quite. Tomax and Zomax. No. Airborne and Xandar. All right, Joseph, you got what? You got it. You were the first one to get 2 right. Airborne and Xandar were the 2 main characters that Peter Cullen voiced. That had figures and based on themselves, or characters that had actual action figures. The 2 other characters are from the original G.I. Joe miniseries. Dr. Vandermeer, which was the scientist who originally built the mass device, and then the slave in the Cobra pits named Romar, the big brute guy, was also voiced by Peter Cullen. But Xandar, which actually I did not realize that Peter Cullen had voiced Xandar and Airborne. Actually, when I was looking, I knew he voiced the Romar guy, but actually, when I was looking it up, learned that he actually voiced those 2 characters as well. So he actually had a voice. Xandar was in the G.I. Joe animated movie, so he actually was voicing that character then, which is kind of cool. So, Joseph, your name is now going on the back of this card, which will then go in the bowl. And at the end of the video, we'll draw one name out, and then that person will be able to contact me. And as I said, if you're watching now, if you're in the bowl already, but you end up having to leave before the live stream ends and we announce the winner, the live stream will become a regular video that you can come back and watch. And as long as you contact me by the end of the day tomorrow, you can still claim your prize. You don't necessarily have to sit through the entire live stream, though it's appreciated if you do. Jerry says he doesn't even remember those 2. You don't remember? Well, so Xandar was Zartan's brother. He first appeared in the cartoons. He first appeared in the Serpentor Rise miniseries. And then he was also in the movie, and then in some of that final season episodes as well. So Xandar was Zartan's brother. Zarana was Zartan's sister. And then Airborne, I think Airborne maybe appeared in 1 or 2 episodes. Airborne was not a majorly used character in the cartoon, but he had an action figure. He's one of the original G.I. Joe action figures done. He's a Native American character. So Roberto, I'll go over the rules when we get to the next question, but throughout the video, I ask trivia questions, and then the first one who gets the right answer goes in the bowl, and at the end we pick the winner. So we've already had 3 questions asked. There's 2 more to go, so you've still got 2 more chances to enter to win. Jason Todd doesn't remember Nemesis Enforcer speaking. Yeah, he spoke a little bit. He mostly grunted and growled, but actually, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Did he ever say any actual word? He did grunt and growl a lot, but I don't know if he actually said any actual words. MK Solid. Thoughts on the new Mego figures? Which new ones are you referring to? Joseph, seeing now New York Toy Fair was canceled, do you think we'll get another PulseCon at the end of the month? Not a PulseCon. So keep in mind, Toy Fair is not a standard is not a standard convention open to the public like say San Diego. It's a closed event for the media and retailers, and the main point of Toy Fair is for retailers to sell their products to the retailers for the year. So I suspect, there's a lot of Zoom calls going on as we, basically even now, I mean, not this very minute, but, going on now between retailers and these toy companies. Now, there is an element of showing off new product to the press as well with Toy Fair. And so I am sure, Mezco just announced last week that they're doing like a little Toy Fair event, so they're going to be showing off some products this month. I believe NECA, even though they haven't officially announced anything, has mentioned that they plan on doing something similar. I'm sure McFarlane will be showing off product during the month. Hasbro, I think, will just continue to do their weekly live streams type deal. So this coming Friday, even though I know there's Marvel Legend reveals coming this Friday, I suspect that'll be done via live stream, even though they haven't officially announced a live stream yet, but I expect they'll announce that probably early in the week. But definitely this coming Friday, there's going to be some Marvel Legend reveals. This past Friday, we had some Power Ranger reveals. The Friday before that, we had some Star Wars reveals. So I think they'll just continue. Hasbro will probably just continue to do that. But I don't think, because again, Toy Fair is not really like a convention like San Diego. I don't think there's going to be this big one under one roof convention type thing, even virtually. I think it's just companies will gradually reveal stuff online as we go along. And, I mean, Mezco said they're going to be offering some exclusive, I'm sure one of their mascot exclusives, like they always do. Um, but, generally, Toy Fair is not an event that does exclusives and stuff like that either. So, like Hasbro's, I don't think Hasbro's going to be doing Toy Fair exclusives, selling Toy Fair exclusives like they did, like they do their San Diego Comic Con and stuff. We're talking about Star Trek Migos. So I haven't really seen I saw a mention of Star Trek Discovery Amigo. I think the Michael Burnham character is getting that treatment, but I haven't. I don't know if I've seen those or not, but if I did, it was only like briefly. I'm not a huge Migo fan personally. I've just never. I don't like the cloth good, look. I guess. I mean, first of all, the original Migos were before my time. Um, and then I guess to me, they always looked too much like dolls. So I guess that's why they never really appealed to me. Joshua, yeah. Well, we got those leaked pictures, so I'm guessing those are coming in some shape or form. I'm wondering with the new Justice League trailer having dropped just today. I'm wondering if maybe this week McFarlane will officially announce those Justice League Snyder Cut figures because we're getting pretty close to the movie, so it's got to be coming pretty soon, I figure. And like I said, now that we've got the trailer, I'm thinking maybe this week we get that announcement, official announcement from McFarlane. NRA says he couldn't get into Migos either. Well, yeah, I mean Migos were definitely before our time, so they were. I mean, Migos has been making a comeback mostly at Target stores, but Warhawk Legends says he believes Hasbro surpassed Toy Biz and Marvel Legends in everything except paint apps, shading detail. Yeah, I would agree, and that's only because the cost of making the figures I think is more expensive now than it was back when Toy Biz was doing them. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Jerry wants Doc Snyder cut. Wednesday, we'll talk about that new trailer in detail on Wednesday. Capano says he's 50 and he gets into Migo. Well, see, Migo, you're a little bit older, so you may have. I would say maybe you were on the tail end of the Migo bandwagon. Joshua Kincaid, the Christopher Reeve Superman looked okay. They just needed to tighten up the costume, in my opinion. I assume you're talking about the Mezco one, because I don't think Migo's done a Christopher Reeve Superman. But I've been seeing people. I'm waiting for my Mezco 112 Collective Superman to come. It's still processing last time I checked. So I don't know what the holdup is, but I've been seeing other people getting it, and some of the images I've seen didn't look as great as like the original images, but then others have looked better. So I don't know. When I get it, I'll probably do a comparison video. I've got the Hot Toys Christopher Reeve Superman. I've got the NECA Christopher Reeve Superman, and so when the Mezco one arrives, I'll do like a comparison of the three, see which one I like best. Warhawk Legends. Do I think Hasbro will ever strive to put more shading detail in the Legends line? And if so, how much do you think the figure will cost? $24.99. In general, no, I don't think they will. I think because if they did more in they're not going to just raise the price just to add more shading. Prices are going to be going up on Marvel Legends to about $23. But they have to stick. These things get grouped off in SKUs and stuff. So I'm not saying you might not get the rare figure that maybe has a little bit better paint job than others, but in general, I think paint apps are pretty much what they are, and I don't expect them drastically changing. If they did, then they'd have to give up something else, and frankly, I don't think I'd want them to. You know, I I kind of would rather it be the way it is. Everett wants to know if the Steppenwolf and Darkseid from I guess from coming from McFarlane with we'll go with the Mattel Justice League figures. Well, the Mattel figures are 6 inch, the McFarlane are 7 inch, so I don't have a good feel for exactly how big those characters are going to look in the movie, especially Darkseid yet, but they might be a hair bigger. I mean, they probably would work overall for you, but just keep in mind, like I said, McFarlane's 7 inch scale and Mattel was 6 inch. Renegade Biker, the 1/6 scale of Storm Shadow on Hasbro Pulse is 149. I assume you're talking about the 3-0 figure. Is G.I. Joe Classified going up in price? Swordpunk asks. I have not checked on G.I. Joe specifically, but I would imagine probably they will. My guess is probably all their 6-inch figures will end up going up to MSRP of about $22.99, by the end of the year. But I have not specifically checked on GI Joe, so I can't say 100%. The two I know are looking at price increases are Marvel Legends and Black Series, but I'm guessing probably Power Rangers and GI Joe and all the 6-inch lines will follow suit. What's our time? We're going on 9 o'clock, so let's go on. Get our next question because we probably should be wrapping up here pretty soon. All right, so again, just a quick recap for any latecomers. 5 questions total are being asked throughout the night. We're down to 2 questions left. All are GI Joe related, a mixture of comic, cartoon, toy related. I'm going to read the question here. First person who gets the right answer that I see scroll across the screen here, I'll call out their name. I'll write their name down on the card. Their name will go in the bowl. At the end of the evening, I will draw 1 card out. You can answer, if you get more than 1 correct answer, which so far we have not. But if you do get more than 1 correct answer, then you have multiple chances of winning. The more you get right, the more your chances of winning. For tonight, you have 3 choices of prizes. You can do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe Krang figure from NECA Toys, the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Viper Target exclusive figure. However, for those 2, you have to have an address here in the U.S. For me to ship it to. I'm not doing international shipping. But the third choice is a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So if you live outside the U.S., you want to go with that one because they do ship internationally. Of course, anybody can pick, the Big Bad Toy Store one. But again, for the 2 physical ones that I have to mail out, if you choose one of those, you have to have an address here in the U.S. So, next question. Again, these are all G.I. Joe related. Okay, so this is the comic book question, going back to the original Marvel comic series. Which issue of G.I. Joe, the original Marvel comic series, which issue was drawn by Todd McFarlane? So which issue of the original G.I. Joe Marvel comic series was drawn by Todd McFarlane? I have a feeling some of you are using Google right now. Nope, not 125. Nope, not issue 3. Nope, not issue 43. Not 122. Not 39. Not 8. Not 44. Not 60. Not 75. Not 44. Not 61. Nope. Oh, wait. 60. Okay. Yes. Joseph, you got it. Issue 60. Congrats, Joseph. So, yeah, there we go. So, Todd McFarlane this was back before Todd was really a household name that he is today. But that's Joseph's second question, so he's going to have his name in there at least twice. Again, in past contests we've had people have won twice, got their name in the bowl twice, but didn't actually walk away with the prize. So it does increase your chances, but it's not a guarantee. But anyway, so back, this was before Todd was a household name, and he basically was brought in as a fill-in artist on GI Joe, and he drew issue 60. Now, apparently, and I didn't know this until I was doing research for these questions, apparently he actually drew issue 61 as well, but then Marvel, for whatever reason, decided not to use his artwork, and they brought in a different artist, Marshall Rogers, to actually draw the issue. And that's what ended up being released. But they had intended originally for him to draw issue 61, and he actually did all the artwork, but then they turned, they declined it. They were like, we're not going to use this. Later, like 2 months after the final issue, which was issue number 155, and at this point Todd had become a pretty big name in the comic book industry as a big time artist. So 2 months after the GI Joe comic had ended with issue 155, they went and they re-released this GI Joe special number 1, which I actually don't have. I didn't know I don't remember this being released. So I have like all the original Marvel GI Joe comics, but I don't have that one. But it was listed as GI Joe special number 1, and it featured his artwork from that issue 61 that he did. So, and there's some images online of some of the pages. I think if you go to yojo.com, they have it. It didn't look bad, so I don't know why Marvel didn't use his original artwork and why they brought in a totally different artist after he'd already drawn the pages for it. But kind of interesting. But there you go. Marvel turned their faces on Todd back in those early days. Renegade Biker, is Larry Hama still making comics of G.I. Joe? I think he's still doing those that series, which was kind of a continuation of the Marvel run for IDW. I stopped collecting them. I have a lot of those earlier issues that he did, but so I won't swear to it, but I think he is. Warhawk Legends, was the original GI Joe comics a good read? I liked them. At least the early, I mean, as the series ran down, like the later stories, I didn't think were quite as good, but the early issues I thought were really good. And the cool thing, one of the cool things about the original comic GI Joe comics is back then they actually would do TV commercials promoting the comics that had little mini cartoons in them, which are actually really cool. So, and I think that's probably what got me into reading the comics. But yeah, I think it's very different. The comics were very different from the cartoon. So it's not like, picking up and reading those Marvel comics was, the characters often were portrayed very differently, and it was just a different. Hawk was in charge of the team from day one. It wasn't Duke. In fact, Duke was not nearly as major a player in the comics as he was in the cartoon. And Cobra Commander was much more fleshed out. He wasn't really kind of like the idiot that they kind of made him out to be in the cartoon. But yeah, I always enjoyed the cartoon. And there was even a spin-off series that was pretty good that they did for Marvel for a while. And then later on, when they did the Transformers Generation 2 comic book series, G.I. Joe actually played a somewhat regular role in that as well. So G.I. Joe is actually, I think I've talked about this before, but in Transformers, eventually they changed Megatron from a gun to a tank, a green tank, kind of a neon green camo pattern tank. And it was actually Cobra in the comic book series that did that, that rebuilt Megatron as a tank. Yeah, Joshua says G.I. Joe versus Transformer was a damn fun read back then. Yeah, well, so there was there. It started out as a limited. They did a limited series of G.I. Joe and Transformers, and this was about the time that they killed off. They had killed off Optimus Prime in the comic books because they had already killed him in the movies, and so they had to follow suit in the comic books as well. So they actually have Optimus Prime's funeral in this GI Joe Transformer crossover series, and they launch his body off into space and stuff. Kyle says, "I feel like I went to GI Joe class today with Professor JayC." Yeah, I'm a big GI Joe fan. I at least back in the day, GI Joe, Transformers, and Star Wars were the three major toy lines that I played with, and I read the comic books, and I watched, with GI Joe and Transformers, I watched the cartoons. So JayC, as a collector myself, I'm now an owner of Bench Century that I talked about on my channel because I already had two packages stolen off my porch, but eventually got them back. Sorry, man, you got them stolen, but I'm glad to hear you got them back. I've never had any problem with stuff getting stolen off my porch. Fortunately, I have had, I had like a few weeks ago, I had FedEx tried to tell me that they delivered a package. Like I got the notification that it had been delivered, so I went out and looked on at my front door, and there was nothing there, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And so I had to call up FedEx, and apparently I don't know if they delivered it. My guess is they maybe delivered it to the wrong house or something. Fortunately, the next day they were able to locate it, and they ended up delivering it. But but I've never had like an actual package stolen off my porch. Of course, I work out of my house, so I'm always around. So it's not like they sit out there very long anyway. Tom asking if there's been any news on more Raw 10 figures. I've not heard anything more about doing more Raw 10, so I don't know. The ones I see those sit around a lot on the Walmart shelves. Like I go into my local Walmart and they have like a shit ton of those Cobra figures. I don't know if the Walmart's ordered those because they thought all the GI Joe fans were going to buy them up or something, but so I don't know if they're doing more or not. He hasn't announced anything, and I haven't heard anything, so we'll have to see. Trevor wants me to sign off with knowing is half the battle. What's up, Snap Phase? 49ers 1975. Have I gone back and rewatched the G.I. Joe cartoon movie from the 80s? I watched it and I stopped 6 minutes in. Couldn't do it. Yeah, I periodically go back and watch it. I mean, I probably watched it maybe a couple months ago. I like it. I like the G.I. Joe cartoon, um, the movie. Not saying it was perfect in any way, and yeah, the Cobra Law was stretching things a little bit, but I love the animation in it. I think the animation was really good. Obviously, the opening sequence is one of the best things about that movie, but but yeah, I watch it periodically, and it's funny because the movie actually never made it to the theaters. It went straight to VHS release, back in the day. So, and as I understand it, it was originally supposed to be released before the Transformers movie, but then it got delayed. They didn't have it finished in time, so they went on and ended up releasing the Transformers movie first, which in the theater did not do very well. It was considered a kind of a bomb at the box office. And of course, with Prime being killed, it upset all the kids. And so then they had to go back and change originally I think they were going to kill off Duke in the GI Joe movie, and they had to change it because they upset so many kids with killing off Optimus Prime in the Transformer movie. I think it might have been Toei that did the animation. The animation in both the Transformers and the GI Joe movies are much better than the animation in the regular cartoon series. Though it's funny if you go back and you watch, if you go back to with Transformers, if you go back to season three, I think it's the last episode of season three where Optimus Prime comes back to life. If you watch that episode, the animation in that one episode seems to be very close to being on par with the animation they had in the movie, which is again was much better than the animation in the regular cartoon. I don't know why that one episode had better animation. I mean, obviously they were bringing Optimus Prime back, but if you watch that one episode, it's actually the animation is very close to how it looked in the cartoon in the movie. T'Challa says that Destro was his favorite character. Yeah, Destro's voice is classic in the movie. He had that deep throated. He's supposed to be Scottish, so the voice doesn't really match up very well with the actual what the background of the Destro character is supposed to be. But regardless, it's so kind of deep and menacing that it works so good for the character. Um, and all those I love Cobra Commander. I mean that I love that voice. The actor that did both Cobra Commander and Starscream in the Transformers cartoon, who unfortunately passed away. But he was great. What's my favorite classic action figure? Asks, what's my favorite GI Joe TV episode? So I like all the miniseries, the GI Joe miniseries, the 5 part miniseries. I like all of those probably better than any of the single episodes. So my favorite is probably the Weather Dominator one, the second miniseries. The Mass Device is pretty good, but I like probably the Weather Dominator. But even like the Pyramid of Darkness one, which was the third one that they did, I like that one. And then the fourth one, which was A Rise of Pentor Rise, that's probably my least favorite, but I still probably like that better than the individual episodes. For individual G.I. Joe episodes, the one where they go to the alternate, it was actually a 2 part episode, and they go to the alternate universe where Cobra has won, is probably one of my favorite episodes. A few other, like the one where I forget, and I don't remember all the titles of the episodes, but the one where they go into the fun, like they get captured, like Cobra Commander Baroness and I think it's Flint Lady J all get captured by this guy who has this funhouse thing, and he like puts them all through this madhouse thing. That's a pretty good episode. Yeah, Chris Latta, he was a great actor or voice actor. The Viper, yeah, the Viper is coming. I've come to vipe your windows. One of the episode, like one of the earlier episodes with Zartan that I liked. Again, I forget the title of the episode, but it's the one where it's got Storm Shadow and like it starts out and they're at this Cobra compound, and Storm Shadow is basically kind of teaching the Dreadnoks, or he's kind of like showing up the Dreadnoks basically because they're like, you know, they don't think Storm Shadow's that tough, and then Storm Shadow kicks their butts. And then they send Zartan. Like there's this conference that's taking place, and they send Zartan in to infiltrate it, and he's like plants a bomb in this conference that's going on, and they end up having to stop it and find out find Zartan and stuff. 49ers, did I like G.I. Joe Renegade? Some reason I couldn't get into it. I I thought the animation was really good, and I've only like watched it probably one time. I may, now that it's up on YouTube, I may go back and rewatch it here. But I can't say that the overall story appealed to me all that great. I thought the animation was good, but I didn't think the story was that good. So I kind of have to agree with you there. I like Sigma 6. I actually like the Sigma 6 cartoon. I even like the toys. I have most of the Sigma 6 toys. So I actually didn't think that was a bad series. Yeah, the Game Master. That's the one with the fun house, yeah. I've been recently gone back and been watching on Hulu the Thundercats cartoon. So I haven't watched Thundercats in a long, long time. So I've actually been going back and rewatching all the original Thundercats episodes on Hulu and kind of refreshing my memory on those because I watched all the Thundercats when they originally came out, but that were like I go back and rewatch like a lot of the GI Joe and Transformers stuff on a somewhat regular basis, but like Thundercats, I really hadn't watched it since I was a kid, so I've actually gone back and been enjoying watching those. Thousand Wolves, best episode when Serpentor takes the White House with the Vipers. I don't think he took the White House. He took Washington D.C. and he went to the Lincoln Capitol and he the president was out of town, but he went to the Lincoln Capitol and he removed the Lincoln statue from the chair and then he used that as his throne, if I remember correctly. I don't think he actually went into the White House, which is funny because Megatron did the same thing in one of the Transformer cartoons where he went into Washington. And of course, I don't know how many of you have actually been to Washington D.C. and been to the Lincoln Memorial, but that is a pretty big chair. So Serpentor is actually pretty small for that chair, but it actually would have worked much better for Megatron. KJ asked if anyone was sorry that Thundercat Toe got canceled. I never watched it. The previews look so bad that I never even bothered watching it. So no, I can't say I personally feel bad that it got canceled. Prime says he's got the entire Voltron series on DVD. Voltron is not a series I ever got in. It's not one I ever watched as a kid. So and I didn't play with. I didn't have any of the toys or anything. So I never got into Voltron. Um, and I even tried like as an adult when it first aired. I tried watching the new Netflix one, but even that one, I found it to be a kind of on the boring side. So I've just never really gotten into Voltron. I don't know why. It's just not one that I've been able to get into. I Serpentor annoyed the crap out of me in the third season of the GI Joe cartoon. It just the This I Command got really old, so I really didn't like. he was okay in like the Rise of Pentor Rise, and even in the movie, he was okay. But when you start watching like that third season of GI Joe with him, it really kind of got on my nerves. Same thing with like Galvatron. I love Galvatron in the movie, in the Transformers animated movie, but the crazy lunatic Galvatron in the final season of the Transformers cartoon just annoyed me. Renegade Biker says he went to DC, his oldest brother, before 9/11. Yeah, so I live just outside of DC, so DC is kind of home for me. But yep, Salome's back. I think she went upstairs to get a bite to eat, but she's back. She's here for the final trivia question, which I think we'll go on and do. So this is the last question. So real quick, once again, if you're late to the video, the rules are I've asked throughout the evening here. There's a total of 5 questions. I've already asked 4. All GI Joe related tonight. So I'm going to ask the final question here. First person who gets the correct answer that I see, I will call out and then write the name on the card, and the card will go in the bowl. And then we will draw one of the names out. You can win multiple times. We've already got one person that's gotten 2 of the questions right, so their chances are maybe a little bit better. However, again, as I've said before, we've had that before, and those people didn't actually walk away with the prize. So, but he could get a third one, so he could end up with the third one in the bowl. And then your choices of prizes tonight, I'm giving you 3 choices. You can either choose the Cobra Viper figure, the Target exclusive Cobra Viper figure, the Target exclusive Krang figure. However, if you choose one of those, you do have to have an address here in the United States for me to ship them to. I'm not doing international shipping on those. The third prize is a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. If you choose that one, it can, outside the U.S., inside the U.S., anybody can choose that one. But those are your 3 choices of prizes. And again, whoever's name gets drawn out of the bowl will be the winner. But we've got one more question here. Again, G.I. Joe related. This one is going to be another cartoon question, and this was probably the easiest question of the night. And the question is, who voiced the character Lieutenant Falcon in the G.I. Joe animated movie? So a pretty well-known actor did the voice that character. Who was it? Don Johnson. That is Mad Money Man 5000 was the first one with the correct answer. So he is the final name to go into the bowl tonight. Yes. Don Johnson, which at the time was best known for the character he played in the Miami Vice TV series, voiced Lieutenant Falcon in the G.I. Joe animated movie. So they like to bring in, like Transformers had Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron and Judd Nelson as Hot Rod. G.I. Joe had Don Johnson. The actor who played Nemesis Enforcer, God, now my mind's gone blank on his name, but he's a well-known actor. He was in the Rocky movies, played the Penguin in the original '66 Batman series. I know one of you guys. And of course, G.I. Joe had Sergeant Slaughter. Okay. Yeah, Burgess. There you go. Thanks, Omega. Burgess Meredith was the voice of Nemesis Enforcer in the movies. Okay. So now I'm mixing up the names. There's 5 names here. Well, there's 4 names because one person got 2. So I'm going to draw the name out here, and then I'm going to call it out, and then that person will need to email me, and I'll give you the email in a second. And in the email, you can tell me which prize you want. You can note it here when I call you out if you want to, but if you need to think about it or what have you, trying to mix them up. So let me I'm folding them up a little bit tighter so I can kind of mix them up better. Renegade Biker's asking, what do I think of Airwolf? I assume you're talking about the old classic TV series. I always liked Airwolf. I thought it was pretty good. And then there was the Blue Thunder movie with Roy Scheider. That was a pretty good one too. I always wondered who would win in a fight, Blue Thunder or Airwolf. I don't think Airwolf was technically a spin-off of Magnum PI. I don't remember there being a connection between, like, an actual, like, Tom Selleck was never in Airwolf, and Airwolf was kind of like the helicopter version of Knight Rider. I'm still mixing up the names here, I know. All right. So, all right. I've got the winner in my hand now, opening it up. Haven't read it yet, so I don't know who it is. Good luck to everybody. Joseph! Oh! It paid off. Getting 2 questions right paid off for you this time. So, Joseph, you are the winner. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your last name, but Biella. I'm totally butchering that. But Joseph is our winner of the night. So he can choose, assuming he lives in the U.S., he can choose either the Krang, the Cobra Viper, or the Big Bad Toy Store $100 store credit. If he lives outside the U.S., then he'll have to go with the Big Bad Toy Store credit. But he is the winner. So the email is j@enewsi, the letter E, and then newsi.com. I will put it in the video description. And I don't know if Joseph is still here. Chime in, Joseph, if you're still in the house. There he is. Congrats, man. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. A lot of you guys give me a hard time when I try and pronounce a lot of these characters that I'm not familiar with. I make no bones about it. I suck at pronouncing people's names. Tony says everyone should get a prize, 5-cent gift cards. All right, well, it's 9:30, so we've been at it for about 2 hours, so I think we will call it a wrap for today, but I want to thank you all for joining in once again. Again, I hope to be doing another live stream this coming Wednesday, probably around the same time, starting around the same time, 7:30 Eastern Time PM. Now, on Wednesday, the focus will be entertainment stuff. We'll talk about the latest episode of WandaVision that aired this past Friday. We'll talk about the Justice League trailer, maybe any other news that comes out between now and then. But that'll probably be the main focus, the new episode of WandaVision, and I'll share my newest theories on the show, and then we'll talk about that Justice League trailer. But I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight, and thanks for participating in the contest. And of course, like I say, if you want another chance to win, you can head over to the Marvelous News or Toy News International message boards, where we give away $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store every month. There's, each form has their own unique contest, so you can go to both or just one or the other. If you're not really into Marvel, you probably don't want to bother with the Marvel one, but TNI definitely. And you can be entered for a chance to win, and links to both of those contests are in the video description below. As always, guys, stay safe out there. I probably will be doing a regular news video, just a regular straight up news video tomorrow on Monday. I had intended to do one on Friday to kind of recap the Power Ranger stuff, but I just didn't get to it. So I'll look for that on Monday. And then, as I said, this coming Friday, the 19th, we should be having some Marvel Legend reveals. I'm guessing Hasbro will be doing a live stream, but even if they don't do an actual live stream, there should be definitely some Marvel Legend reveals coming. So if they're going to do a live stream, I expect they'll probably announce it tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest. And of course, if they do a live stream, we'll have coverage of that on Marvelous News, but then definitely I'll be doing a video probably on Friday to talk about what's revealed there. So stay tuned for that. And as I said, as always, here, let me do my little, I always forget to hit this one, but, oh, no, it's not apparently working. Oh, there we go. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Hit the like notification when this becomes a regular video. And until next time, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.